if I lived in my current neighborhood when I was in college, one, I probably would not have had as much fun. And two, my neighbors probably would have hated me. We didn't throw too many house parties, but we threw enough. And there are times and places throughout your life that your desires and needs change. When you're in college, you want to be around the activity, other students, parties. When you're a young professional, you want to be in the mix. Walkability, downtown. When you have a family, maybe more of a lawn so you can throw the ball with your kids, and close to parks and schools and safety. And when you're retired, maybe again, walkability or safety. Your perspectives change throughout life. And while we've worked with so many people moving across the United States to Fort Collins and Northern Colorado, a lot of the times they ask us for neighborhoods to explore with different parameters that kind of fit their needs. So we kind of put together a map of Fort Collins and stars and circles and label the neighborhoods and give a high level overview of what makes those areas and neighborhoods neat and special and particularly fit their needs. So if you are moving to Northern Colorado and you do want some more information, or if you're looking at buying, selling, or investing, reach out to us. We can kind of put together that for you as well. And it's been a great tool. But today's video, we are going to talk to you about the 12 best neighborhoods that you must explore. And I shouldn't say best, but neighborhoods that you must explore if you are a family moving to Northern Colorado or moving within Fort Collins. I think these areas really serve well. We'll talk about kind of the perspectives of why we think these neighborhoods are great. And there are some parameters that we kept in line so that kind of kept specific neighborhoods comparable to different areas of Fort Collins. So stick around. We are going to start in the northeast quadrant, and we're gonna go counterclockwise and in the southeast quadrant. There are gonna be 3 neighborhoods per area. And really, I think we've talked with people moving to Northern Colorado, and because we're a smaller community, about 180,000 people, neighborhoods are a little bit difficult because sometimes there's not a ton of turnover. So we've talked with people about looking at quadrants of Fort Collins that really fit their needs. And so where you start with is we really wanna be in the northwest quadrant. And then from there, we're going to give you some neighborhoods that you might want to explore. My name is Patrick Soukup. I'm with Soukup Real Estate Services here in Fort Collins. Thank you for watching the Living in Fort Collins YouTube channel. We're going to talk to you guys about everything there is to know about Fort Collins. My 34 plus years of living on this earth have all been spent in Fort Collins. So eating, sleeping, working, playing, some neighborhoods to explore. These are things that we're going to talk on this channel. So give it a comment, like, and subscribe if you enjoy the video. But without any further delay, we are going to jump into today's video, the 12 neighborhoods you must explore if you're a family moving to or moving within Fort Collins. Let's go. So first and foremost, we wanted to kind of describe what was a good neighborhood for a family, because honestly, perspectives are different. And what my belief of a good neighborhood for a family might be different than others. Some people really do want to have walkability, one vehicle. They want to have the culture of, an old town. So downtown Fort Collins really might fit, but nowhere in this list is we're going to have downtown. A lot of it's because of traffic and safety and lot size and green spaces and parks that downtown doesn't necessarily have, but it absolutely has proximity, walkability, and things of that nature. So first and foremost, we're going to talk about safety of neighborhoods, areas. Granted, Fort Collins in general, you're moving to a really pretty safe place. Not a ton of crime, some property crime, homicides, all violent crimes are pretty low in comparison to the rest of the nation. So that's kind of status quo. Schools and proximity to schools. I can tell you that we moved into our neighborhood because we loved the house, but we are also super close and didn't have to cross any busy streets for our neighborhood to get to our local elementary school for our kids of the future, which are now today. My daughter's going into kindergarten this year. Super crazy. She's already 5, turning 6. Green space and parks. I can tell you that, man, now different age of kids are going to need different things, and all of that is consideration. But generally, being close to a park or open areas, green belts, things of that nature, kids still want to get out, even though they're playing on their tablets a ton. Hopefully they're getting out just as much, getting their knees dirty, playing around, getting active. So being close to green space and parks. Kids of familiar age. Honestly, we were this close to moving out of our neighborhood because, well, there just wasn't a ton of kids, young families that were going to have kids our age. But that's started to turn over in the last few years. And so we've decided to stay in our neighborhood because now there actually are kids of our similar age. Kids of my kids' similar age. Low traffic and walkability. That's probably one thing that I don't like about my house too much. We do live on a corner. It does get a little busy with cars, and I can say it definitely stresses me out at times with how many cars pass. And I love, obviously, end of cul-de-sacs, very little cars, and if there are, they're going to be going super slow. And then walkability, sidewalks, safety, curbs. Kids are going to be riding their bikes, and you just want to keep them safe. There was a tragic event that happened in Timnath not too long ago. And, it just rips at your heart when you hear something like that, and accidents absolutely happen. But if you can avoid that, it is definitely something that take into consideration for the neighborhoods we looked at. Low noise levels and affordability. Like I said, I would think if I was here living in this neighborhood when I was in college, my neighbors would hate me, especially just the once a month that we would have a house party, and there'd be about 30 to 40 cars parked out there and music bumping. And I would say that it's probably not the right neighborhood for that. So we'd look at that in consideration of that. And then the last thing, and really this is probably what drove a lot of our decisions that might not necessarily be these neighborhoods that you expect in this video, but is affordability. There are a lot of affluent people moving to Fort Collins that could afford $1.2 to $2 million houses that have young kids anywhere between 3 to 10 years old. But generally speaking, families with younger kids in that age range are probably not going to be in that $1.2 to $2 million house, so that neighborhood, while it might be phenomenal, great, amazing houses, there's not going to be a ton of kids and activities that you might miss out on. And so we looked at a parameter of on the upper level $900,000. So when we talked to you guys about median and average sales prices of these neighborhoods, we did not look at houses above $900,000. We looked at houses below $900,000. So when you see the average and median, that is what it's looking like. And that's because, generally speaking, you're starting out your life, you're in a position where maybe you've made some good pay increases, pay bumps, but you're still not making maybe the most that you're going to make between 45 and 50 when your kids are 12 to 18 years old. And so we wanted to put some parameters that were specific to family ages. Now, don't just get me wrong, 12 to 18-year-old is still a family and things of that nature, but maybe they have sports and activities and things of that nature, so they're not going to be playing with the kid next door as much. At least that's what I found in my life, that as I grew up, I started to get more in activities, competitive sports, as did my neighbor. We stopped hanging out as much and went kind of our separate ways. But when we were kids, we played with each other every day. So that's why we put on those parameters. And hopefully from that, we developed these 12 neighborhoods that are worth exploring. So let's jump in and get rocking and rolling, starting with the Northeast. Here we go. The Mosaic neighborhood. Now, this is probably one of our newest subdivisions, and the biggest thing that's going for it is its price point is attractive. They've got paired houses, townhouses, single family, detached. It's a great community. There's lots of amenities, 2 pools, a 20-acre park. We've closed actually a few homes with some clients there, and generally speaking, it's a great area for younger families. It is a little bit out of the way, close to the train tracks, but it's a 7 to 8 minute drive downtown. The median sales price there is $602,000. Average sales price is $609,000. Laurel Elementary, Lincoln Middle School, Fort Collins High School are going to be the schools at Mosaic. Clydesdale Park. Now, this is actually going to be east of I-25, but I really like this area, especially long-term and with its future prospects. There's going to be a lot of development there. Timnath Middle High School just opened up. There's going to be a lot of activity, but right now you are a little bit east of I-25, which I don't love if you're living in Fort Collins, but you're super quick to downtown, Old Town. There are parks and there are trails, there are activities, and it's at a good price point. Median sales price, $615,000. Average, close to about $643,000. Elementary, Timnath. And then as we discussed, Timnath Middle and High School is probably going to be the high school that your kid goes to. So even though you have a Fort Collins address, you're probably going to be going to Timnath Middle High School, which is a Poudre School District school. Greenbriar. Now, this is going to be off LeMay on the north side, very, very close to Old Town. Not a ton of houses are going to sell, but at a very attractive price point, and you are going to be close to Greenbriar Park. There's going to be activities, sidewalks, great bikeability, King Soopers, groceries nearby, restaurants, places to eat. You're actually kind of getting into more thick of things as North College develops. Median sales price, $535,000. Average, closer to $518,000. Tavelli, Lincoln, and then Poudre High School is actually where you're going to be going to high school. So, decent schools on the north side of Fort Collins. there's not a ton of neighborhoods on the northeast side of Fort Collins besides a lot of Old Town. So we did have to kind of get, picky and choosy. Some honorable mentions: Maple Hill, Dry Creek, Timbervine, and then also Delwood Heights. Now, Delwood Heights doesn't have a ton of curbs and gutters. It's out of, Fort Collins proper, so not a ton of street lights. So not as excited about that one, but great area near the country club. And those are definitely places that you want to explore as well after you look at maybe those top 3. The Northwest Fort Collins. Now, this has been super surprising for me over the years, and actually I've had to check myself because that's why we did quadrants. Because I told Izzy, I said, if I did this video, I would be extra biased to Southeast. I don't know why. I grew up in Southeast. I love Southeast, very family friendly, but we have had plenty of clients move here that have actually liked and looked at Northwest because of its proximity to Horsetooth Reservoir, of its proximity up the Poudre Canyon, of its kind of a set away nature, closer to the foothills. People move to Colorado to be in nature, the lifestyle, so it makes sense. So let's hear about these 3 neighborhoods in the Northwest. Cedarwood, Sienna, Wildwood. Now, we kind of combined these three different subdivisions into one neighborhood, and you're super close to Overland Park. It actually sits right in the middle, and that's kind of why we did it and why we chose this neighborhood, because of its proximity to Overland Park. And again, your proximity to Horsetooth Reservoir, downtown, up the Poudre Canyon. You are minutes away from everywhere, but you are still in the action. Shopping is close, activities, things of that nature. Median price point, $588,000, with an average price point of $580,000. Bowder is going to be your elementary school, Blevins is your middle school, and Rocky Mountain High School is going to be your high school. Now, this is probably one of the most desired neighborhoods in Northwest, and really, honestly, of all of Fort Collins. The ponds on the northwest, the ponds at Overland on the northwest side of town always seem to get a lot of attention and a lot of eyeballs. There's great walking paths throughout the community. We've done specific videos. We've discussed the ponds in previous videos as well. There are good price points throughout. There are some more affordable price points. Fiore is, there are smaller houses recently built. And then Catalpa, there's actually like $1.5 million to $2.5 million houses, but you're right along the foothills, super close, good walking paths throughout. But it is going to come at a price. Your median price point, $730,000, and average price point, $737,000. Now, again, we actually didn't include Catalpa, and actually a home that just sold for $1.3 million. So some of those average price points and even the median might tick up a bit if we did include those. There's not a huge percentage of homes that kind of match that in the ponds, but there are some. The schools are going to be Bowder, Blevins, and Rocky Mountain High School for the ponds at Overland. And finally, on the northwest side of town, Poudre Overlook and Saddleback. This is a beautiful neighborhood, and you are starting to get really far northwest, so you're a quick hike up the Poudre Canyon and to Red Feathers, but you're still along that northwest side off of Overland Trail, and quick access downtown off of LaPorte Avenue. So easy access, very little traffic in this area, but homes are gorgeous, built in the 90s, so you're definitely going to get some good options, and price point is a little expensive here as well. Median price point, $730,000, with an average sales price of $737,000. Schools are going to be Irish, Lincoln, and Poudre High School at the Poudre Overlook and Saddleback. Honorable mentions, again, the Northwest doesn't have a ton of neighborhoods that aren't either full of college students or downtown, so we did have to get picky and choosy here. Hannah Farms, Miller, and Fairview are some honorable mentions to check out as well. All right, my bias is about to start to come out, but I also think the south side of Fort Collins is probably the most family-friendly oriented side of town comparatively to the north. So there are so many neighborhoods that we really had to look at, both on the southwest and southeast. So there are tons of neighborhoods to explore here, and it was really hard to get down to the top 3. Really, affordability came into a big conversation because, again, we wanted it to be a price point that the majority of people that are going to be of kid age, anywhere between 25 to really 45, having kids that are going to be between 2 and 10 years old, couldn't afford. So it was, again, this is a very subjective video, but that's why we added the honorable mentions, because I think there's going to be a lot of, not backlash, but conversations of neighborhoods that people should have explored other than these top 3. So we wanted to make sure to add the honorable mentions. And there are quite a few of them on the southwest and southeast, but let's jump in to the 3 that I chose for the southwest and then southeast. Westbrook/Westfield. Now, this is going to be Weber Middle School, Johnson Elementary. There is a great park right there. You are right near the Mason Trail as far as getting access north and south in Fort Collins. Very well kept neighborhood. Pool access by membership and good parks throughout. It is going to be a little bit more expensive, $715,000 median sales price, with an average sales price right around $701,000. Your high school is going to be Rocky Mountain High School. We've actually closed a couple clients in this area, and they absolutely love it. And I actually love driving through it. It's a good part of town. You are still super quick right along Horsetooth to Taft Hill, up Harmony, and then you're really pretty darn close to Horsetooth Reservoir, hiking and things of that nature on the southwest side of town. Willow Park. Now, this is going to be one of our more affordable areas on the southwest that, you're right near Troutman Park, Carmike Movie Theater. That area is going to get redeveloped. You're going to be near the Foothills Mall that the McQuinneys are going to be redeveloping. This area is really going to see some good exponential growth, in my opinion, in the near future. Elementary school in the neighborhood. So again, lots of easy biking throughout the neighborhood, cul-de-sacs, slow driving streets, sidewalks, parks, and just a good location within Fort Collins. Median price point, $552,000. And average price point, right around there as well, $552,000. Lopez Elementary, Weber Middle School, and Rocky Mountain High School. And finally, our last one to explore here on the southwest side of town is Silver Oaks. Now, I had to get down. I was really close. Quail Hollow and Clarendon Hills were just, honestly, it was hard for me not to put them in there. You're right next to Spring Creek. Olander Elementary is within the school. I really like Silver Oaks. There's not a ton of houses that are going to turn over there, but the price point versus Clarendon and Quail Hollow was the driving factor. But Clarendon Hills, Quail Hollow are absolutely in my honorable mentions. Probably one of the first to mention there. But Silver Oaks, price point, $637,000 for median sales price. And average is pretty close right there as well at $649,000. Olander Elementary, Blevins Middle School, Rocky Mountain High School. So you are absolutely, in comparison to a lot of places, you're right along Taft Hill. You're really close again, up Harmony, over to Horsetooth Reservoir. Spring Canyon Park is right there, which is quickly becoming one of my favorite, if not my favorite parks. Massive. Bikes, trails, Spring Creek is right there. Can't talk enough about Silver Oaks. I'm gonna have to get my notes for the honorable mentions because there are a lot. Honorable mentions: Quail Hollow, Brown Farm, Clarendon Hills, Taft Canyon, Warren Farm, Meadowlark, Wood West. Now, there are plenty of others to explore as well, but honestly, we have to cut the list at some point. So if you do live in a neighborhood that you think should be on that list, let me know. I'd be happy to look at it a little bit further. All right, we are to my baby, where I've been born and raised, Southeast Fort Collins. I have been known to be biased, so definitely take that into consideration. I think there are amazing things about the Northeast, Northwest, Southwest. I just know the most about Southeast, and I think it's a great place. I'm excited to raise my family. We live in Huntington Hills, and we have decided to raise our family here by making the renovations that we want in this house for the next 17 or so years, because I've got basically a baby, a 1-year-old. So we're gonna be here for a while, and we are excited to live here, and we're excited to see the growth of what the Southeast is doing. But let's jump in to the 3 neighborhoods that maybe you should explore. And Huntington Hills isn't necessarily on that list. Parkwood. Now, there are parts of Parkwood that, yes, there are going to be homes that sell for $1.2 to $1.6 million. Parkwood East is probably a little bit more affordable, but you are close to Riffenburg Elementary, Adora Pool and Ice Center, Epic, Power Trails right there, Spring Creek Trails right there, Genesis, the gym that I go to, shopping areas, there's going to be beer breweries, restaurants, so a lot of things are within biking distance and walking distance even to Parkwood. $637,000 median sales price, and again, I did not include any houses above $900,000 because that number would increase if I did that, but all the houses below $900,000, the median sales price is at $637,000. An average $639,000. Now, here are where some of my friends from high school came from, was Parkwood. But they did go to Riffenburg and Lesher. I went to Cruz and Bolts, but then we all went to Fort Collins High School. A great school, but Parkwood coming in at one of our first neighborhoods to explore on the southeast side. English Ranch. Now, this is a unique neighborhood because there's no HOA, but people take care of it as if there were one. Now, there is actually a voluntary HOA, and one time the sign actually got crashed. They've got the money together to fix the sign, and although it acts as though there's no HOA, although there is no paid HOA, there's still some design reviews and things of that nature that you've got to stay in touch with. But English Ranch, right near elementary schools, good sidewalks, right near Front Range Village, so shopping, restaurants, close to I-25, so up Ziegler, Harmony, I-25, easy access to get there. High school, Fort Collins High School, Bolts Middle School, and Linton Elementary, which again is within the neighborhood, along with good parks and access to lots of different areas. In our final neighborhood, which actually gave me the idea of creating this video because, like I said at the beginning, although you could afford a neighborhood, maybe $1.2 to $2 million, maybe you don't want to necessarily move there with a family if what you want is to have other kids in the neighborhood, because it's just not going to have a ton of kids in those 1.2 to 2 million plus neighborhoods. So we discussed, and affordability is a big factor. The last neighborhood, Observatory Village on the southeast side of town, you're gonna go to Zach Elementary, Preston Middle School, and Fossil Ridge High School. Some of the best ranked schools. But you're gonna be right next to Twin Park's Fossil Ridge High School, and just a lot of activity. And as that kind of Harmony corridor develops, oh, here comes one right now. Do you wanna be on the video? All right, come here. Come on, quick. Well, here is one of the reasons why I am making this video. So Observatory Village, you're gonna be, the Harmony corridor is being developed. So DC Oaks, Crispin Greens, schools, all of that kind of stuff is right near there. Trails, yeah, you're gonna have to bike a little bit to get to trails, but not too much. But that being said, Observatory Village is a great family neighborhood, good pools, an observatory, right there in their parks within the community. That is our last neighborhood on the southeast side of town. And this little one is, definitely a big reason why we do what we do. And if you're making a decision to look and explore at neighborhoods on the southeast side of town, southwest, northeast, northwest, give these a chance. But before we finish off the video, here are some honorable mentions on the southeast side of town. Again, I'm gonna grab my notes and let's just go through here. Honorable mentions: Harvest Park, Sage Creek, Miramont, Huntington Hills, Collindale, Golden Meadows, Willow Springs, Rigdon Farm, Buckinghorse, Lake Sherwood, Mission Hills, and Southmore. Now there's plenty other neighborhoods that could definitely be on this list and that are worth exploring. But all of those listed here are worth getting in a car, driving around, and seeing if the vibe, the age of the house, the area, closeness, proximity, safety, schools, all that kind of stuff checks your boxes. And if you're considering moving to Northern Colorado, right, whether that's Fort Collins, Loveland, or anywhere, maybe give me a call, text, or email, and maybe this one will answer it one day. But for now, me and my team will answer it, and we'd love to help you out. Thank you for watching the 12 neighborhoods to explore if you're a family considering relocating or within Fort Collins. Have a great day.